All right. All aboard and welcome to the Fox Valley Short Line Railroad, a standard career playthrough of Derail Valley Simulator. My name is Swift Fox, and I'll be your conductor and engineer for this evening's 2-hour journey on the rails. Please have a seat, get comfortable, and have your tickets ready. This train is now departing. Welcome, welcome all. All right, we are effectively in the mid game of Derail Valley. It is 6 in the morning. I did go through the DV or the DH4 and mount all the gadgets out of the DM3. So, our goal for tonight is to do some shunting here in Harbor and Town using one of the DH4s just to give us an opportunity to get used to the throttle, the brake, how the train feels, how it reacts on the flat in a kind of a controlled area before we take it out on the main line with a freight consist and so on and so forth. So also, while we're doing this, we'll go over the process of manually servicing our locomotives. Now, if you look here, we have the two DH4s that we hooked up at the end of our last session. And at the end is the DE2. I kept it. I'm keeping it. I like it. It's my little buddy. No, actually, as we move along, manually servicing or servicing these two DH4s is going to be expensive. So if we just use them as motive power when we need to, when we're going out on the main line, and try and use the DE2 for shunting around the yard after we, make our initial drop, we will save ourselves some money. All right. We won't put as much wear and tear on the DH4s. We'll put it on the DE2, which is a lot less expensive to upkeep, to maintain. So that is our goal. So I left all the gadgets in the DE2. Ta-da. So it still functions as a mobile charger for our remote control, and it extends the distance of the remote control, and we have all of our gadgets in here. So eventually, what we're going to do is next time we get to goods factory and machine factory, we'll get a speedometer and the brake indicator for this locomotive. That way, when we're driving it backwards, we have that information if we're using the DE2 or the DH4 for shunting. Eventually, when we get into the DE6, these will become our shunter. And what I'll suggest and what I'll show is to couple our DE2 with our caboose. And that allows us to move the caboose around as needed when we get into that level of play. But that's a long ways off. So it is now 6 or 7 in the morning here at Harbor. So let's see what jobs are available, because we spent an awful lot of money and we need to do our best to get some of that back. So, what do we got here? That looks like a hazmat job. And that is not a hazmat job. That is 31K. And that is probably a very good one to showcase where you would use the DH4s to do your shunting around the yard. And it's a long 2, which we happen to have. So we're going to start with this. Where is it? C2I. This is probably what we... Yeah, this is C2I. So let's go and get that. And get this started. So I want to welcome Commander Kitsune and Wild Fox into the chat. Hello, all. Cameron, good to see you. All right, is everything turned on? Yes, okay. Rum. All right. All right, we'll leave the other one off for right now. Was any of the brakes on? Yes, of course. Brakes. Oh, that brake's on. How about that one? I must have slept. Luckily, we just sort of hit this F button and jumped from locomotive to locomotive. What is still off? There we go. How's that? Everybody happy now? Okay. All right, the next switch is to the right, which is the way we want. Well, is it the way we want to go? Yeah, it's the way we want to go. We'll back down in, back out, and back over. We're not on the clock yet on this job, so, like usual. The remote control also works on these DH4 locomotives. Only the DE2 and the DH4 will the remote control work with. The DH4 is considered a road shunter, so it's designed to haul loads across distances between industries and alrighty. Whee! Now, here's a fun fact. We stop. See, this takes like forever to stop. Okay, fun fact. Even though this train is not turned on, I can use the controls in this cab to drive the train backwards. How cool is that? All right, so we're going to back into C2I. It should be straight back. Let's just give ourselves a little bit of time here. Boop, boop. C2I coming in here, so we want to stay right and left. That'll take us right into C2I. There's our load right there. 12 kilometers an hour. Hello, slow down a little bit more. Donk. Alrighty. Come on. I think we're moving. Ooh, it's slow. Alright, so we'll boost some speed here. Get ourselves moving. So we'll add the other DH4 into this. The single DH4 should handle this load, but start and go will be a little slow on it. Keeps going and going and going and going till we get here. Boop. Our locomotives are way up there. We're going to ride back here so we can slow ourselves down before we get to the switch. 20 miles an hour. 20 kilometers an hour is fast enough. My goodness. Where do we need to take this? D7L. The normal spot. You're ready to see a flying fox? How so? Do you expect me to fly off the locomotive? When we bumped? Ah. Oops, that was the sand. So this job is 31K before the bonus. So time and a half. That gets us to like 45. That's almost 50K there. We spent quite a bit. Yeah, we were about, yeah, spent 125K on the licenses. I think, yeah. Beautiful morning in Harbor and Town. So how's your Derail Valley game going, Commander? Hey, Tiggy, how are you? Thank you for popping in. All right, we're going to take this switch to the right. And take this into the D7 loading yard. All right, so we need to set that switch to the right so we can go into the D yard. And we need to set that switch to the right so we can go into those. And we need to take the throttle off because we are going wicked fast. So we've noticed so far that braking, it takes a bit more brake to get these to stop. Ooh. Nice. So it's like self-serve hibachi. And that switch is correct. We're going to hop off at the track limit sign. Right there. And then guide these in. I'll wait for these long ingots to go by, and then I'll start to apply some brake. And it's all just basically a guess, just trying to figure out how many cars it takes at 2 bars to at least get down under 10 kilometers an hour. And pop another bar in. That should bring us to a nice, easy stop. All right, good job. Let's go start this job so we can unload and take the rest and put it away. Looks like there's 3 drop-offs. So we're here now. Majority is going into D5S. 4 cars into G6S and 2 into G2S. That's awesome. All right, so that's not too bad. Just a matter of, are these cars at the end of the train or at the beginning of the train? So let's go unload and then we can figure that out. Way back. Stop here and get ourselves a flag. Oops. I jumped out the wrong side. All right, unload. All right, so let's see here. Last car is 489. Ta-da! That looks like 489 right there, that first car in the line. So there's, let's see, 5, 6, 10 cars to drop off at D5S. So that's 1. Count them with me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so this car is the car. I will put that on so that I know. All right, so now we've gotten rid of most of this weight. We're gonna turn this locomotive off. Oops. All right, stop that. All right, so track 5 is over there. And this switch looks right, and that switch looks right to take it back into the slot for 5. It does look like there's some cars in there. There's some cars existing on that track. Alright, so I'm going to jump out here at this switch. I have to flip this switch to get us to go back. And 15 kilometers an hour is plenty fast enough. If there's anybody else in the chat, I encourage you to shout out and say hello. Introduce yourself. We're all friends here. I can see the end of the train. Don't want to slow down too much here. Almost stopped the train before the switch. All right. hop onto here. Take her back. So as I said in the beginning of the stream, our goal this evening is to use the opportunity to do some shunting here in Harbor and Town to get a better feel for how the DH4 operates. The throttle, the brake, the controls, and also give us an opportunity to recuperate some of the 120K that we spent on licenses so that we could bring these two new locomotives into service with our little railroad here. And hopefully by the time we get to the end of the session here, I'll have time to go over the manual servicing and how that all works and looks and so on and so forth. I could, but I'd probably jump through the pole. All right, so yes, we do have tracks. We do have stuff on the track here. We are definitely going way faster than I would prefer to be going. So do a little bit of a slow down and drop it back. And slow down normal. In fact, that's pretty far in. I know we're going to have to end up pushing this car. Is there only a single car back here? Yeah, it's just there to annoy us. Yeah, because 10 cars aren't going to fit between that signpost and that car there. Once again, the game throws little twists at you so that you have to be on the ball. You can't just roll in here at full speed and not do some damage. Was there actually 2 cars? Oh, there's 3 cars here. All right, slow down. Slow down. A little bit more. 2. Perfect. All right, now we're going to run down to the other end and be where we need to be to see the flag that we placed and uncouple the cars. That was weird. And the flag is, see it way back there before the switch, to the left of the switch? It's way back there. I wasn't paying attention. But it's in there. Keep that. Turn the brake on. And we'll head back out. Everything else goes in the G yard. All right, so that's our drop. All right, 4 cars and then 1 car. So this, I don't really need to put the flag on this. I just know there needs to be 1 car left. And I need to drop on opposite sides of the G yard. Alright, so you asked about jumping out. And see, I just sort of, oh, wait a minute. Let's jump at this pole. Rah. No. I don't even know whether I could do it in VR. That's an interesting thing. Interesting conundrum. Alright, so we're going to come back on this track over here on our right once we get to that switch. We're going to set this to go the other way. Probably. It does, but then the flux capacitor activates and we go into a completely different reality mode. Depending on what I have the temporal date set to inside the lead locomotive. How's that? Did you expect that? Is that what you were looking for? Also requires what, 31,000 gigawatts or something like that? Gigawatts? Alright, let's slow down because I need to make sure that my switches are right, and they aren't. That one's good. I think there's 7. I think we're good. Let's see, that's 5. That's track 5. That means track 6 is set correct. Alright, so 4 cars go into track 6. And then 1 car goes onto track 2, which is over there. There should be a demonstrator locomotive. Wasn't there a demonstrator locomotive? Maybe not. Maybe not here. Different game, different session. Next car, and that is far enough. 3, 2, 1. Good. Forward, forward. Now again, in reality, for this load, we could have turned off the DH4 and run all these empties back with the DE2. Just have to keep in mind that two DE4s contributes 150 tons to the load. We need to go back out to that switch is just coming up on our right-hand side. That one. Set that one. That'll put us right to track 2S. And that'll finish this shunting job. And I guess, I don't know whether I've ever mentioned it, but I listened for the two ka-chunks as the wheels go past the switch to know that the switch is clear of the frog and it's safe to turn the switch. All right, that one's good. Alrighty, that job is done. Save ourselves some fuel. Hang that back up. And then drop this job off and see what else there is. Too far. See what else there is to take. So, drop. We had 51 minutes. We did it in 18 because we played the system and we almost got 47K out of that. Good job. That'll put a heck of a dent into the money we just spent